Mr. Begley and members of the board, we do have several items for board discussion this evening. Our first item is presentations for the 2025-2026 school year. If you look in your folder, you should see a document in your folder this evening that lists the presentations for last year, just to give you an idea what that usually looks like. And to summarize that, just to review, in a few minutes you will share some ideas that you might, about some potential topics for board discussions during the upcoming school year. And then after you exhausted those ideas, then the three of you will get X number of dots and put those dots on the topics that are of interest to you. Generally, we end up, as you can see from the schedule, we try to schedule one presentations per board meeting throughout the year. There are times where things happen unexpectedly and we find it necessary to add a presentation for one reason or another. That always happens, usually a couple times a year. Other than that, there are a few staples: a state of the district, a state report card presentation, an open enrollment presentation, which Mr. Crapo is already looking forward to. So you do not need to list those on your list. You don't need to have those listed there because they will occur regardless. And then, of course, we will have our building spotlights as well. We generally rotate those. So every other year, a building has an opportunity to present. So having said that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Begley.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I'll just throw it open to some discussion here. There she is. Our scribe is back and is going to help us with some selections here on the board. First thoughts?
I know that we have done it in a couple years, but we didn't do it last year. I would like to see an update again on the health center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the health clinic, right? That was probably introduced in, I want to say 2016 or so, right? It's been a while.
Probably 15.
15,
14
very
or
early,
15.
and 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's great. What's the usage look like?
Mm-hmm.
Where are we at? I know we had created some transportation to move kids inter-district to the facility and back, and how is all that going? Okay. Scott?
Yeah, I have two that I kind of repeatedly do. One is the Hope Squad, and then the other would be the reading curriculum, Fontes and Pinell update.
Okay. So Hope Squad, of course, is a program at the high school and freshman
school
building and now the intermediate building. Yeah.
Secondary.
It's been in the intermediate for quite some time. And
Yeah.
the students nominate and choose their own Hope Squad leaders, confidants.
Right. It ends up being peer-to-peer
Peer-to-peer, yep.
contact. Okay, great. And then Pinell and Fontes is the reading curriculum for K through 4 or
I think it's through 5.
K through 5?
Yeah.
Just reading curriculum in general, you like K through 5, just
Yeah.
to specify? Is that what we're looking at, Scott? Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be a part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So an idea I had was the Rise Up program, right? That I think Mr. Mulberg talked about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Apprenticeship.
right. It's such a struggle at Butler Tech, right? There's just not enough seats for the demand, and so I think pushing some of this to the home schools and having programs where they can get some experience and some industry credentials and some of the things that we've started, that we're doing here, I think is great. So well, let's consider some more conversation about that.
What about like the SRO program and the K-9 units and the therapy dog?
Sure.
Yes.
If you don't mind, let's separate those out. So you have SRO program in general, and then our facility dog is a totally separate program. So those will actually be two different topics.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant like SRO and then like the mental health and therapy dogs. Like
Yeah.
I sit at a string of conscientious
Yeah,
words.
no worries, all good.
Okay. And then Gina, could you identify I think it's the Rise Up program? Okay. Anything else we can think of?
I had something.
Will we have, Mr. Smith, will we have a program specific to English language learners and some of the challenges
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, and sometimes I don't know if we put that, we generally, Mandy gives like an update. I feel like you've probably given an update maybe once a year. Is that fair to say, or has it been not necessarily an annual update?
Well, we did maybe 2 or 3 years in a row, but I don't think we did one this year, this
Okay.
past school year.
Okay, so we can add that to the list, and EL program update.
Another one I was thinking of, and I can't remember, and I believe it's been a year or so, and I can't remember if it's for the staff or the students, when they had sort of a boot camp for, I want to say maybe.
ACT,
Yeah, but it had a certain name, I think, and I can't remember what that was.
It was run by Torch Prep,
A torch prep, yeah.
but we do not have that anymore.
Okay.
Because when the ESSER money
Ran out.
ran out, we weren't able to afford to continue that.
Okay.
So individual departments at the high school have tried to replicate a similar experience.
Okay.
I don't know that what a presentation like that would look like.
Okay.
But we do not have the specific Torch Prep
Okay.
boot camp in-house anymore.
Okay.
All juniors are still testing though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I knew it had been a while, and I couldn't remember the reason for the ESSER funds running out. That makes sense.
I had health clinic as well. I think I wrote something in my notes on my phone. Let me check that. If you have another idea, please.
I think those are my top three.
Along with facility, okay, never mind. Because I think that's another program that we were losing with the ESSER funds, was the intervention specialist, right?
or you might be referring to maybe some of our mental health support systems, and I think we could probably do a presentation on mental health programming and supports. You know, a holistic approach to what we do, and maybe compared to what we used to do, and probably include some data from that. I know that we, again, similar to, you know, some other reductions we've made over the last couple years, we were able to partner with the Community Foundation to retain some social workers. And again, I don't want to get into what I don't want to do a whole presentation, but I do think that's certainly a topic that would fit well into a presentation.
Would Butler County Education Center liaisons, would that fall under that, or could that be a separate?
I think that would be separate, but I think that's another
I don't think we've touched on
topic that the board could be educated on in our community, you know, because they hear about these liaisons probably pretty regularly,
Yeah.
and maybe they don't really know what they do.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, we could certainly
Yeah.
add that to the
I'd
list.
love to put that, I don't know.
Community liaisons.
Yeah, I know Matt, Mr. Crapo works closely with them, and they do such a great job, and they're kind of that silent partner that we have to the public anyway.
And the other one I found on my phone was elementary school counselors, right? So we have 3 of those, or do we have 6 of those?
We have 6 of those.
We have 6
We
of
have
those.
one in each
Okay,
building.
right.
And that was something that we started, I started in 16, so maybe 17 ish.
Right.
Yeah, so, but yeah, that's also a topic? Would you like school counselors in general, or you just want to hear about yeah, honestly, there's pretty big topic, school counselors in general,
Yeah,
because
right.
their work is so different
At the,
at the different levels, so.
I've always been intrigued by the elementary
Okay.
level, and there's a need there, right?
Sure.
So it's not
Absolutely.
about what classes you're gonna take as a
Right.
fifth grader,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Or where's your
Sure.
career?
Yeah.
But the emotional support and some of the
Perfect.
other things they provide, so, yeah.
Perfect.
And I'm not sure if you put this on the list of things that we always convert anyways, but I would be interested to see an update on the transportation and the new app that we were using this year and how that evolved and how that's like developed this year and the things we've learned and the things we're going to progress in.
We're gonna talk tonight about impractical transportation and some of those things, but just, you mean in general? how
Because we were
that's
using the new
running,
software
yeah,
to
yeah.
map everything and then the new parent software to update them on when students' buses are running late and stuff like that.
And if that one makes it, we will probably strategically schedule that maybe at least midway into the year, so we have a good gauge on, how things are working as opposed to pretty early on. It might be too early.
Sure.
How about a sort of a security update? We have that new visitor system. We've kind of marketing the windows and sort of black them out from looking in, see out. Maybe an update on how that's working.
The security updates that we can give.
Yeah,
Because
right.
obviously we can't give everything openly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Safety and security, let's call it that. I'm good. Anything else?
Untapped.
And we usually, just on average, we usually end up with about 3 to 5 of these
Yeah.
a year that get added to the rotation to fill those gaps. And then usually, there are 5 of you here, usually have 3 dots. I don't know if you want to go 5 dots since you only have.
We're going 4 dots.
Going for it. Meet in the middle. Yeah, meet in the middle. So, all right.
All right, let's go assign some dots.
Should we have 2 of you step out of the room while the other one's doing the dots? or-
Okay, I'll just look this way.
You watch, it's gonna be like, literally, everyone's gonna get 1 dot. There's 3 of them, there's 12 topics, and there are 4. That can't happen that way.
I have a secret half of one.
They're teaming up together against you. I thought they were.
Look at that. Such decisiveness.
Yeah.
So we gave you 3 or 4 to choose from.
Looks like there are 4
Yeah.
clear winners, and that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's ever been more clear than what it is. So,
We didn't have the color code.
perfect. That makes my job easier. So, all right. Any other comments? Okay.
We're good, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next 3 items for board discussion, we have a transportation update, recording of board meetings, and also some information about Bureau's Garage agreement. All 3 of those will be covered by Mr. Perry. At this time, I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, Mr. Begley, members of the board. First item I'd like to discuss is a transportation update, in particular, the in lieu of payment and impracticality. Just a reminder to revisit our process. In February, we scheduled a meeting with all private and parochial schools and outlined our new process, including transitioning to a Google form to collect a lot of parent information, which went very well. This process, the transition has been very smooth and it increased our ability to collect that important information. That initial deadline has passed, and after reviewing all the information, there are 5 additional families, which are 9 students or pupils total, that we would like to deem impractical. This is in addition to the students that have been deemed impractical in years past. And the active process is that the superintendent would make this initial determination, and then we would come back to the board for approval of a resolution for impracticality and for payment. So as long as I kind of get a head nod on this, we will move forward of sending letters as early next week to start this process.
Yeah, comfortable with that? I know a lot of work goes into this. It's not something you do lightly. It's a tough decision to make, but it's best interest of the district.
Absolutely. And then to highlight, as we were talking previously about the app and some of that information, part of the reason why we moved to that Google form, in addition to that, we actually used a link within the routing software, which we shared with those parents for those schools, and it actually, their information uploads directly into the routing software. So again, we are experiencing much cleaner data, and hopefully our parents will see better customer service through that.
If I could, I just want to echo Mr. Begley's comments. Lance and Jeanette Flick, our transportation director, have put a lot of work on the front end of this to get where we are today. A lot of scheduled meetings that had not taken place in the past, a lot more communication to make sure that those parents, and specifically the schools that may be impacted, truly understand how it works and how it impacts us, and the data that we are going to take into consideration and all those things. So it was a lot of work, but it was well worth it, the right thing to do, and a lot of work and a lot of communication. And so I just want to echo your comments and thank Lance and Jeanette for all the work they put into it.
Thank you.
Thank you. The second item I'd like to highlight this evening is that Mr. Bob Link has communicated his desire to retire. As a result, we are transitioning to the management and recording board meetings to be completed by the technology department. Jeff McKinney and I have met to discuss the new process and have reached out to other area school districts about their process to make sure that we are following similar ways of not only recording but making that available to our community. After Mr. Link has retired, meetings will be online for public viewing, as well as any and all presentations. They're not going to look as good because he does such a great job. But I just want to make sure we're clear, we're still going to be communicating all the information that is presented in the meetings. In addition, Bob has agreed to assist us with the first few meetings to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Link for his years of service and support. Thank you, sir.
Turn the camera around.
The third item for board discussion this evening is the renewal of the Bureau's garage agreement. Mr. Clemens and I met with Tom Bureau to discuss this extension, and we hope to have a finalized agreement prepared for board approval on the July 6th meeting. The district has a long-standing relationship with Bureau's Garage, and we would like to continue. Kenny Wright, the lead mechanic, and his team continue to provide an exceptional level of customer service to our staff while maintaining the district's bus fleet as well as all of the other district vehicles. Through that meeting, it was a lot of great discussion. We actually learned there are additional tasks that the garage has picked up over the past 5 years that we did not realize. And in addition to that, we had to have some discussion around the new buses that we have ordered, have air conditioning. That is new. So therefore, there are some additional tasks we're going to be asking them to help us maintain. So that was actually a detail that I was not expecting, but makes total sense. So hopefully, for the next board meeting, we will have something finalized for you all to vote on.
You know, Mr. Perry, deciding which bus drivers get air-conditioned buses may be the hardest part about your job moving forward.
Yes, that is actually in the labor agreement. And we were actually kind of surprised that in this last negotiation, that was not a line item that they wanted to discuss. So yes, that is going to be an interesting experience for all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next item for board discussion, board policies. I'll turn it over to Mrs. Sauer.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Begley and members of the board, I have 2 pieces of policy for discussion this evening. These policy changes are actually a result of the IRN changes that we discussed back in November. We're looking to make some IRN changes to better match how we report our data to match what other local school districts do to report their data for the school report card. So in collaboration with Mandy Auk, I cannot take all the credit, she has done a ton of legwork for the IRN changes, but we have successfully combined the freshman school and the high school under one IRN, and we have created a new IRN for the academy. As we did this, we were informed that if we have even one student who is educated 100% virtually, we are required to have an additional IRN for a fully virtual school. So then we created an IRN for the virtual academy, not to be confused with the academy that is the blended learning model. Does that make sense? So we've learned a lot as we've gone through this process. So we have just a handful of students that this applies to, but because of this, we now have this additional IRN for the virtual academy. Only students whose educational needs cannot be effectively met by one of our traditional school settings and/or the regular academy would be enrolled in the virtual academy. But as we did all of that, now that we technically have a virtual academy, we have learned that we're legally required to have a policy in place for online e-learning. So that is the policy IGCDA, online e-learning, that is listed on the agenda. This is not a change in practice for us. It's just a new policy requirement that we've learned about as we've been navigating all of the IRN changes that we've gone through. And as we have done that, we looked at the other policies that we had in place when we no longer will need and can rescind the current policy JECBF, which is the admission of students to the virtual learning option that existed solely due to COVID. So we're able to rescind that and add the online e-learning policy in its place, and then we will be fully compliant with all of the IRN changes that we've made, so that we'll be good to go. So pending any questions that you have, this will be on the July 10th agenda for action, the addition of the one and the rescission of the other.
Questions? Thank you.
All right, our last item for board discussion is in regard to an MOU, a latchkey MOU. And Mr. Crapo is here to discuss that MOU, and I'll turn it over to him.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith. Good evening, Mr. Begley, members of the board. Fairfield City School District Latchkey Program has been a tremendous asset to our families throughout the years. As you're aware, the program is self-funded and expenses do not come out of the general fund. We've worked hard to keep the prices low so that the program can operate as it should and still provide a valuable experience for the students that attend. But due to many factors, we're going to need to raise our rates again this year to make sure the program would continue to meet the needs of our families. In doing some research and working closely with the local OPSI union leaders, it turns out that we are the only district anyone could find that actually had an in-house latchkey program. I was able to look outside of Fairfield City School District to not only continue the program, but make it more affordable for our families, offer services to our students that may not have been able to attend before, and to expand so that all elementaries will have an option. Some of the benefits of the new program, 50% discount for the employees' kids, 10% discount for military families, discount for economically disadvantaged students. They accept state vouchers in lieu of payment. They will provide service on in-service days for our staff and their kids. They'll be able to hire all of our current staff if they wish to go over. And session rates will be lower than our current rates, and this will be a huge win for our families. Later on this evening, you're going to be asked to take action on an MOU that was drafted to allow this change to take place. The MOU was drafted with district leadership and union leadership working side by side. The MOU would allow the Fairfield City School District to discontinue the in-house latchkey program and allow Right at School to take over. The MOU also allows the high school to move 4 of the special education EAs from a 6.5-hour day to a 7-hour day. This decision was made out of need as the EAs help the special education students get on and off the bus in the morning, then in the afternoon, oftentimes turning in timesheets for this work. In closing, this program is to continue at a better rate than what we could ever offer. It allows more students to attend that could not afford to do so before, as we could only offer it to 4 schools and could not accept vouchers or offer discounts to economically disadvantaged students. The current employees will have a chance to continue doing exactly what they're currently doing or take a posted position in the building as an EA. This is a win for our families, for the students, and for the employees. Do you have any questions?
I do not. Thank
Comment,
you.
just, that's amazing. And you made a comment at the very beginning, it's self-funded. Is this still being self-funded?
It's being taken over by Right at School,
Right,
and so the money will go to Right at School.
Right, but the parents or whoever, it's not coming out of our budget.
Nothing
and
at all,
nothing is
right,
what I'm
right.
getting to. So I just want to make that clear because of the budget forecast, that it's still self-funding. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but the payment to Right is coming from the parents and whoever pays into the latchkey, correct?
Correct.
Self-sustaining.
Self-sustaining?
I will not be asking Amy for any money.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's asking me for any money.
But the fact they take vouchers, some discounts and things like that's unbelievable. That's really, really good. So thank you for finding that and bringing that service available. That's tremendous.
Thank you, Mr. Grabo.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And before we go to items for board action also, and I couldn't have said it any better, but Mr. Link, I do want to thank you for all your years of service. You will be missed. We appreciate your willingness to stick around and help us out as we transition. And then lastly, Mr. Crapo, I know this was a lot of work, and again, great partnerships that we have with our unions. And the theme here, if you listen, what we always go back to is this is best for our kids and our families. That in order for us to continue running our own program, we were going to just have to continue to raise rates almost probably every year, and then some of our families would not be able to afford the service. So thank you, Mr. Crapo, and everyone involved. I know it's a lot of work. And then I know apparently I'm just talkative this evening, but I just want to talk about all the discussion about the IRN and the board policies. That is a year's worth of work over there that occurred. It was a lot of work behind the scenes, and then it just comes out in a couple minutes here. And but I just want to thank everyone involved, especially Mandy and Kim, for working together to make that happen. Again, because it's what's best for our kids in our building. So thank you.